Hello everyone. It's so good to see you and get to spend some time with you, even if we have to do it from a distance. Today I brought a story that was one of my favorites when I was a kid. It's an oldie but a goodie. It's called Herbert Hated Being Small. Now, I was thinking about what it was like to be your age, to be 3 and 4, and I dug up some pictures. Would you like to see what I looked like when I was your age? It may be fun to ask your parents to find pictures of what they looked like when they were your age too. So one thing I remember about being that age is that I had an older brother and sister, and I always felt like they could do things that I couldn't do. So sometimes I didn't like being small, and maybe this is one reason that I loved this book so much. So I hope you enjoy it too, and we'll see you soon. Herbert Hated Being Small by Carla Cuskin. Herbert hated being small. He hated being called a shrimp. He wished so much that he were tall, oh, only tall enough to glimpse a face or two instead of feet, a bit of sky instead of street. "I'm not much taller than the cat," Herb said, scratching his head, shedding a tear, pulling his ear. He wished upon a distant star. One wish was all, that he were tall. Herbert lived in Loomington, where everything looms large and high. The ample avenues, the mice and men, even the bugs are bulky, and the sky stretches, it seems, for years, as wide as it is high above the reaching trees. "I am the only person that I know," said Herb, "with nobody to talk to except knees." He bit his lip and pulled his ear and said, "I'm getting out of here." He packed some candy and his bear and started for the world out there. "Listen," he told his favorite bear, "perhaps, somehow, someplace, somewhere, there just might be some other one as short as me." And then he added with a sigh, "I guess I mean as short as I." So with his bear for company, he bravely hastened out to sea. Now, far away beyond that town, just where the winding road runs down and dips before it climbs a hill, in Littleville, another town, there lived a girl named Philomel. But everybody called her Phil, since that is short for Philomel. Except she wasn't short at all. She wasn't even slightly small. "I feel so out of place," she cried. "The only one as tall as I do not mean as tall as me, for miles around is that old tree." Thus Philomel wept bitterly. The others are so small, they stare and giggle, "How's the air up there?" And "Are those rain clouds in your hair?" And many more enormous jokes. I'd run right home and tell my folks, but both my folks are tiny too. "Life is too short to be so tall," did Philomel complain. One sunny day she prayed for rain. "Perhaps some rain would make me shrink. Ah, then I'd smile a lot, I think. I'd never shed another tear." She bit her lip and pulled her ear and said, "I'm getting out of here." She packed some candy and her bear and started for the world out there. "Listen," she told her favorite bear, "perhaps, somehow, someplace, somewhere, there just might be some other one as tall as me." And then she murmured with a sigh, "I mean to say, as tall as I." So with her bear for company, she bravely hastened out to sea. There, then, in the shifting golden light, as afternoon stretched into night, Herb started walking up a hill. When coming down it, he saw Phil. Now that was certainly a sight well calculated to ignite excitement and invite delight. Then each of them was pleased as punch. "You know," said Herb, "I had a hunch." "You know," said Phil, "I had one too, that somewhere there was someone who was just like me. I mean like you, the size of me. I mean of you." "I'm tickled pink that you're tall too." "Me? Tall?" was Herbert's stunned retort. "You can't mean tall. You must mean short." "Hold on," said Phil. "Then I'm not tall, and you're not short. Ha! Well, that beats all." "I guess size is related to just who you're standing next to, and where you are, and where you're from." "Come home," said Phil, "and meet my mom. Small or tall, or thin or fat, such things depend on where you're at." "Come home," said Herb, "and meet my cat." And so they did precisely that. The end.